Welcome.
to our self-love practice. My name is Catherine Wolf.
And my name is Renier Jooste.
Welcome. Today we want to talk about how to get freedom from a consistent self-love practice.
So what does it look like when we do not have freedom? We are stuck in unwarranted negative emotional states. And to have freedom means that we are in peace. On the inside, we are okay and everything is okay. And the way for us to look at this is to see the outside for what it is, the outside, and to see the inside for what it is the inside. And being able to take responsibility to show up for this inside is really what the self-love practice is about.
Yeah, so there are so many reasons outside of us to get caught up in the world and get into that emotional roller coaster of the world. And basically, what a self-love practice does is it unhooks you from that so that the outside can happen independent of the inside. And that is freedom. It's really the only freedom that we can create for ourselves in this world.
And that's exactly how it happens. The outside is outside and the inside is inside. And it's our responsibility to look after this inside and to be able to show up for ourselves. So think about this. How easy is it for you to experience gratitude in a state of anger? And how easy is it for you to experience anger in a state of gratitude? It's like impossible. It's two separate entities. The one is like not okay and the other one is okay. And the one is outside and the other one is inside. So we might walk around with a story that something outside of us is not how we like it. And I promise you that is not loving to yourself.
No, it's not. That is the opposite of self-love. So how do we turn this whole thing around? Because the outside does feel very real. And there are things that certainly affect the way that we're feeling inside. So how do we detach that? And how do we make a practice of it so that we can get a whole lot better at creating freedom for ourselves inside?
Yeah, so I'd say the first step is to acknowledge that this mind is going to do what it does. And the mind is always racing with stories, one or another story. So for us to be able to consciously breathe, deep diaphragm breathing, it's like we are creating space in our mind by feeding our minds oxygen, which is what it is. And as we get to just breathe and feed oxygen to our minds, the space is creating. And within the space, we can choose another way. But if we don't have the space, we are unable to choose another way. So loving to myself is to breathe and to create space in my mind. And know that my mind is going to do what the mind does. But at the same time as I'm creating space in my mind, I'm also allowing my heart to be with whatever it is, whether it is not so great, not such amazing feeling, or whether it's a super amazing feeling. It's like inevitable. It's just allowing this heart to feel what it feels. And that is really a form of loving myself. It's not to have this extra pair of hands that needs to go and handle this heart because it's not feeling okay, or listening to the mind that says, don't worry, I will handle this. We are going to be like that now. It's like, that's not loving.
Yeah, it's detaching from the judgments of that feeling being good or bad, or that I like it or I don't like it. So to just acknowledge that this heart does feel, and whatever it feels, it is feeling, and I don't have to make it good or bad. I don't have to push it away or bring it closer, because in that I am being unloving to what is going on for myself. So to free the judgment and just be able to be in that space of being, and the freeing of the judgment brings us back to the present moment, which is the place where self-love is. So the minute that we are in a story in our heads, it's because of a judgment, and that takes us away from the present moment, and that's what creates the hook that keeps us stuck. And the mind loves the hook because it goes around in these little circles like a hamster on a wheel.
Sameness, right? Like the same thing over and over. And sometimes it's 3 hours, sometimes it's 3 days, sometimes 3 weeks. We can even go to 3 years with the same hook.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, to be able to acknowledge that that space to be in is not loving to myself. It's like really making this outside bigger, more important than this inside. And we can only give what we've got. So once we get to make this acknowledgement and start to show up for this inside, how can I be more kind with myself when that's happening on the outside? How can I be more loving to myself while that is happening on the outside? It's self-love is not a thing that when things are great, you've got self-love. And when things are not great, you don't know. Self-love is not that. Self-love is there all the time.
Yes, especially when you don't feel good. Yeah, that's when we need to exercise our willpower over the hamster wheel and say, enough with that. I'm choosing something else for myself. I'm choosing not to attach my own judgments, which is just my own story based on my own personal past experiences. It's not even true. So to consistently practice coming back to the now in acceptance of what is self-love.
Absolutely.
And that creates freedom. That brings freedom. The consistent practice of acceptance without judgments is freedom.
Inside of ourselves, in the inside world.
Yeah, that's the only place where freedom exists, because it's the only place where nobody else can touch you. Nobody else can take it away from you. The things that change in the world can't change that. That is the one thing that you do have control over. The one constant in life is this inside world. So a self-love practice to bring freedom. Let go of judgments. Breathe.
Create space.
And be present.
There we go.
Thank you for joining us. If you would like more content from us, if you would like to connect with us, #DM us directly, give us a comment, share some love. We would love to connect with you guys. We'll see you soon.